I mean, come on, I'm a college-educated person. How is it that I'm 32 and still can't find a partner? Back in the day, people said studying was hard. Getting into college was tough. After graduating, finding a job was even harder. And now that I've finally got a stable job, guess what? Finding a partner is the hardest part yet. Each hurdle is tougher than the last. Now, I'm sitting here wondering, am I really left with just older single women or divorcees as my only options? No way. I've worked so hard all these years, and now I'm stuck at the matchmaking stage? What was the point of all my earlier efforts? If I end up having to settle for a divorcee or some 37 or 38-year-old single woman, then why did I bother with college or landing a stable job? What's the point? All I wanted was a better life down the road. What's going on here?
In this clip, a 32-year-old guy laments failing to find a partner despite his degree and job, dreading settling for older or divorced women. Men, you've felt this sting. Women mock your grind, then demand you accept their leftovers while they chase perfection. Why reward someone who trashes your life's work? Ready for an entitled whine? The next video's a doozy.
Has anyone been to the Matchmaking Corner at Shenzhen's Lianhua Mountain? I'm already an older, single, unmarried woman, and this time when my family came to Shenzhen, my dad insisted we all go to the Lianhua Mountain Matchmaking Corner together. So the whole family tagged along to keep him company. When we got there you could see, well, just like in those pictures, baskets upon baskets of personal profiles and introductions. But since I went at night, there were also a lot of eager guys around, all desperately looking for their other half. For those who haven't been, I highly recommend checking it out. It's like stepping into a whole new world, honestly.
In this clip, a woman recounts dragging her family to a matchmaking event, shocked by desperate men and stacks of dating profiles. Men, you've been through this circus. Women sizing you up like livestock while expecting you to beg for their approval. Why degrade yourself in a system built to strip your pride? Think that's humiliating? The next clip's a frustrated cry.
I'd love to know, how are women around 30 getting out of the single life these days? At our age, it feels like we're left with just two types of men to choose from. Either they're divorced, or they're broke and have absolutely nothing going for them. Talk about awkward. In our 20s, everyone's hustling, right? Now, we've got some financial stability and are ready to think about marriage. But then you realize all the good men have already been snatched up. What's left? Mostly guys who are, well, not much to write home about, and they're just putting on a front. Are we, the so-called leftover women, only good for cleaning up other people's messes now? Like we're stuck browsing the second-hand market for men? Laughs. Everyone's preaching about being independent women, but honestly, if you're around 25 and have the chance to get married, just do it. Because by the time you hit my age, you'll see that good men don't stay on the market. The ones who are married, and when you're ready to pick, you're left with the second-hand market. So, how's everyone else finding love? Spill the tea, I need some tips to learn from. Oh, and in Shenzhen, the male-to-female ratio is like 1 to 7, one guy for every 7 women. Chuckles, this city is overflowing with amazing women. I swear, finding love in Shenzhen is harder than anywhere else. Too many wolves, not enough meat.
In this clip, a woman in her 30s complains that only divorced or penniless men remain, whining that good men are gone and she's left with second-hand picks. Men, you've seen this ego. She acts like you're garbage but cries when no one meets her sky-high standards. Why chase someone who views you as a consolation prize? Think that's smug? The next clip's a ridiculous ordeal.
During the May Day holiday, I had the weirdest blind date ever. Like, super weird. I was actually taking this date pretty seriously. I woke up early, washed my face with cleanser, and at 7 a.m., I grabbed 2 boxes of walnut milk with the matchmaker and headed to the girl's place. But when I got there, I couldn't believe it, there were like 7 or 8 other guys there for the same girl. Just one girl, and we all had to line up to meet her, one by one, like some chubby cat emperor picking a consort, handing out tokens or sachets. I thought, among all these guys, I'm probably the best-looking one. And, well, that's about it. Laughs. Me and the matchmaker were just squatting in the alley outside her house, like some palace maids sneaking a snack together. People were looking down on us because the other guys rolled up in fancy cars, and mine? Not so much. Poor matchmaker was suffering right along with me. We waited 2 hours for my turn. When we finally got into the courtyard, I saw the girl, and right away, she looked pissed. I was like, what's going on? I mean, I didn't mess up some grand court etiquette, right? Why was she suddenly acting like Neza from the Magic Kid? Out of nowhere, she transformed and started yelling, "Mom, I told you I don't want guys with glasses. How many times do I have to say it? No glasses." I was stunned, like I'd been hit by some ultimate skill from a video game character. Me and the matchmaker were just frozen. I thought, fine, let's go then. But my legs wouldn't move. Her mom chimed in, "Nana, look at this guy. He's nice. He's got a nose, eyes, everything." I was like, what? If I didn't have a nose or eyes, would I be an earthworm or something? The girl reluctantly agreed to chat, so we went inside. The house was a mess, like a petri dish for bacteria. The breakfast dishes were still on the table, unwashed. I was so nervous, second only to my driving test. I was terrified she'd transform again. We started with small talk, where I work, if I have a house or car. But her attitude was off. Then she asked, "How bad are your eyes?" I said, "About 200 degrees. She scoffed, "Wow, so fancy with those glasses, huh?" I was like, "Alright, let's just call it quits. Clearly, you're not into me." She said, "Fine, go." So I left. The matchmaker was waiting outside, giving me these weird winks. I was like, "What's up?" She whispered, "Take the walnut milk. Don't leave it." I said, "It's fine, it's just 2 boxes." On the way back, I told the matchmaker, "In a couple of days, I'll be a big shot influencer. Finding a wife will be easy then." She was like, "What, did that girl hit you on the head or something? Is your head hurting?" I just laughed and said, "Never mind. We're just not meant to be." Today, I lost 2 boxes of milk and got an earful. Not exactly a win.
In this clip, a guy describes a humiliating group blind date where he was rejected by a woman for wearing glasses and driving a cheap car. Men, you've faced this shallow judgment. Women dismiss you over petty details while demanding you worship their chaos. Why grovel for a diva who's already written you off? Brace yourself, the next video's a brutal wake-up.
Honestly, every time a single woman in her late 30s, say 37 or 38, comes to me for matchmaking, I feel so much pressure. I genuinely want to help this group, but I also know why they're still single. Their standards are sky high. Whenever women in this age group come to me, I have to carefully assess their personal conditions and their partner requirements. If they insist on a man with no kids, I don't even dare take their case. I just politely decline. Why? Because suitable men in their age group who don't have kids and have decent conditions? They're all looking for women under 35 because they want to start a family and worry about fertility issues with older women. My advice for single women in their late 30s, be a bit more flexible with your standards. Single men aged 40 to 45 with good conditions are rare. If a guy's got it all together, he's probably chasing younger women. So consider men around 40 who already have kids but are open to having more with you. I know it might feel like settling after holding out for so long, but think about it. Over the years, haven't the men you've met on dates gotten progressively worse? Trust me, it doesn't get better, only worse. The good, reliable ones are mostly taken. What's left are the ones others passed over. Finding a perfect, flawless guy among the leftovers? Nearly impossible. Some older single women, after just a quick chat, I can tell they'll never get married. For example, some 37 or 38-year-olds still demand a never-married man with an income over 250,000 yuan, over 1.8 meters tall, with a bachelor's degree or higher, and he's got to be handsome, sunny, and considerate. If he doesn't meet those standards, they won't settle. They call it choosing high-quality singlehood over a low-quality marriage. For these women, I can see it a mile away. They're not getting married. My advice? Start looking into retirement homes now. Save up for a spot in a good one. The standards of a 37 or 38-year-old single woman are the same as a 25-year-old's. But what do you have to compete with them? It's not just about being worthy, you have to outshine your competition. You've got to beat all the other women vying for the same guy. And why am I single and struggling to marry? Because I had a fake best friend.
In this clip, a woman struggles to match 37 or 38-year-old single women, blaming their unrealistic demands like no kids or high salaries. Men, you've dodged these dreamers, expecting a flawless bachelor while offering only ultimatums. Why marry someone who's priced herself out of reality? Think that's grim? The next clip's a backstabbing drama.
You know those plastic sisters? The fake best friends? Back when we used to hang out, she was so nice to me every single day. I even had a boyfriend at the time. But guess what? My so-called bestie secretly got my boyfriend's contact info. It's true what they say, time reveals people's true colors. Watch out for thieves, fires, and best friends. The ones who betray you the hardest? Your besties. I'm serious, I've been stabbed in the back by a best friend, and there's no way to see it coming. That's why I have no friends now. None. And you know what? Women can be so jealous. I don't even know why. I've been alone my whole life, never had a real, good best friend. In social circles with eligible guys, women turn it into a competition. Why didn't I ever beat my so-called besties? Because I'm too kind-hearted, and they're too cunning. I couldn't keep up with their schemes. My whole life, I had just one best friend. And she betrayed me. She added my boyfriend behind my back, and in the end, they got married. I don't know what kind of toxic bestie I stumbled into. Have any of you dealt with these plastic sisters? Tell me about it.
In this clip, a woman blames her single status on a toxic best friend who stole her boyfriend, claiming female jealousy ruins her dating life. Men, you've seen this mess. She plays victim but expects you to wade through her drama-filled world. Why risk your sanity for someone surrounded by chaos? Ready for a total breakdown? The next video's a train wreck.
Blind dating is such a mental roller coaster. It's exhausting and soul-crushing. I'm 33, and today was my 7th blind date. I've learned one thing: the older single men in the dating pool almost always have some kind of issue. These guys aren't just struggling to find a partner in real life, they're the type who've never been popular with women, ever. And the older single women in the dating pool, they're usually here because, when they were younger, they didn't get locked down by any of the many guys chasing them. When these two groups collide, it's almost impossible for things to work out. A woman who couldn't be won over by tons of guys in her youth is now meeting men who've never been able to win over any woman. It's a recipe for failure. So, I don't really recommend that women keep going to blind dates. If you meet someone you like in real life, go for it, be proactive. But stay away from the blind dating market. The men there, they've got problems. Take the guy I met today. Before the date, I had no idea who he was, but I had this weird feeling he might be someone I knew, maybe a classmate. When I got to the date, I saw him, and sure enough, he was my junior high classmate. I was shocked. This guy. Let me explain. Back in school, he was the kind of guy girls would gossip about and mock during break time. He had no guy friends, didn't hang out with other boys, and didn't have any hobbies that guys typically liked. The girls he hung out with, super average, the kind no guy would ever go out of their way to talk to. He was clearly the type who, growing up, was always left behind, never chosen. And today, at this blind date, he showed up with his parents. I was like, "You're in your 30s, Why are you bringing your parents to a date? I've worked for years and, back in school, I was pretty outgoing. I can be the life of the party when the occasion calls for it, but when I don't feel like talking, I won't say a word. For this date, though, I knew I had to bring my basic manners and respect, especially since his parents were there. When I walked in and saw it was my old classmate, I vaguely remembered him. We didn't talk much back in school, but I've got a good memory. He, on the other hand, didn't seem to recognize me at first, probably because I've changed a lot. He definitely didn't expect someone like me, who was super popular back then, to be sitting across from him on a blind date.
In this clip, a 33-year-old woman quits blind dating after a creepy meetup with a former classmate who brought his mom and forced gifts on her. Men, you've been burned by this hypocrisy. She demands courtesy but freaks out when you show interest, then calls you broken. Why play her game when she's already judged you defective? Guys, what's your take? Drop a comment and let's keep this fire going.